Here's the verdict up front. One free model family covers every MacBook. You just need the right size for your RAM. And there's one model that looks perfect on paper and bricks, a 16GB Mac. Macs are different from gaming PCs in one deep way: unified memory. The model shares RAM with macOS. There's no separate video memory. That sounds convenient. It isn't always. Two limits shape everything. First, memory bandwidth, not cores, sets your speed. Second, macOS caps GPU wired memory at 2/3 of your RAM. On a 16GB Mac, that ceiling is 10,922 megabytes. That's from an MLX-LM GitHub issue, verified live. Remember that number, it's the trap. Start at 8GB. The pick is Qwen at 4 billion parameters, 4-bit, MLX build. Unsloth's own hardware table says 4-bit needs about 5.5 gigabytes total. macOS eats 2 to 3, so it fits tightly. Community estimates put speed around 25 to 35 tokens per second, with newer chips estimated higher. Treat those as estimates, not lab runs. Now the interesting part. Apple's own tech report scores their on-device model at 67.85 on MMLU. Qwen, at 4 billion, scores 75.10. That's Apple's own published table. Their 2-bit variant drops to about 64.4, so a free model beats the one shipping on your Mac. But nobody should buy 8GB for AI. With the browser open, you're swapping. And Apple's base memory moved to 16GB in late 2024 anyway. Step up to 16GB. Today's default Mac. The pick is Qwen at 9 billion, 4-bit MLX, around 7 gigabytes. 4 independent aggregators call this the daily driver. After macOS, you've got roughly 9 to 12 gigabytes usable. 7 leaves room for context and a browser. And it fits under that metal ceiling. No terminal surgery. Speed? Estimates put it around 15 to 25 tokens per second on an M4 Air. One community run clocked about 16, good enough for real work. And in May 2026, Alma made MLX the default engine on Apple Silicon. MLX builds are reported 10 to 30% faster than the older format, using less memory. Reported, not independently replicated. Now 32GB, the sweet spot upgrade. The pick is Qwen's 35 billion mixture of experts model, 4-bit MLX. The file is 20.4 gigabytes on disk, verified live on Hugging Face. Here's the trick. It's 35 billion class quality, but only about 3 billion parameters fire per token. So it generates at small model speed, even on a base M4. A dense 27 billion model would crawl. Qwen reports 73.4% on SWE bench for the full model. Their number unreplicated. Caveat: 20 gigabytes plus macOS plus apps is tight. This is a speed quality compromise, not a flagship. Now the bandwidth beat. Why do two Macs with the same RAM differ by 4 times? Bandwidth. Apple's specs. The M4 does 120 gigabytes per second. The M4 Pro 273, the M4 Max 546. Same 16GB of RAM, up to 4.5 times the bandwidth. That's why speed tables disagree so wildly. And the trap. GPT-OSS 20B on a 16GB Mac. On paper it fits, 12 gigabytes of weights. In reality, under MLX it fails against that 10,922 megabyte ceiling. There's a GitHub issue titled exactly that. On a 16GB PC GPU, this model is the sweet spot. On a 16GB Mac, it's the trap. Unified memory is not video memory. So here's the take. One family, 3 sizes, all Apache 2.0, all free. 4 billion if you're stuck on 8GB. 9 billion on every current base Mac, that's the safe default. The 35 billion mixture model if you paid for 32 GB. And if you're choosing a Mac for local AI, spend on bandwidth. Buy the Pro or Max chip, not just more RAM. RAM decides what fits. Bandwidth decides how fast it runs. The model is free. Your only real decision is which Mac you already own.